Welcome, everybody. Don Cramer with the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty. Happy Friday to everyone. And as I said on a previous post, we're measuring twice and cutting twice. Last week we had some technical difficulties, but ladies and gentlemen, she is back with us today. Miss Missy Day, success consultant. And Missy, let me just add you here and add me there too. And right now I got Missy over at Don. So I love it when I do production and I'm kind of producing. It's amazing what you wind up with. But there, okay. So you're on the side that says Missy Day. I'm on the side that says Don because it was flipped around.
Yay!
But who's counting? Actually, now there's three of us. Oh God, there's two of me. There
Better
we go.
you.
We got it right. We got the right cameras. We got the right angles. We're all good. So, Missy, thanks for joining us for take two.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here for round two.
Absolutely. And again, we want to welcome everyone to today's week-ending episode of Coffee with Cramer, Colleen. This show is dedicated to real estate, community, and lifestyle, coming to you from fabulous Las Vegas. So Missy and I were both here with our cups of coffee. I decided to go with the quick little espresso. What are you sporting today as a breakfast beverage?
Same as last week. It's back.
It's
It's my
back. Excellent.
ginormous iced coffee.
Lock and load.
That's right. I'm ready.
Absolutely. And if you're new to the show, do us a big favor. Hit the like button to let us know you're here. And if you're drinking a cup of coffee or that favorite breakfast beverage, do us a favor. Take the selfie and share it up there on Facebook. We'd love to see what beverage you're sporting. So, Missy, thanks for joining back. And just for people, in case you missed it last week, or you guys just weren't in the same room as Missy and I chit-chatting, Missy Day is the CEO and founder of Missy Day Success Consulting, a highly sought-after executive coach, trainer, and speaker. Missy's well-versed in business operations and the importance of asking key questions most business leaders just won't ask for themselves. Missy's trained over thousands of team members through her experiences in Six Sigma, Kaizen, emotional intelligence, and fish philosophy, has enabled teams to experience a culture shift, maximize production, and improve their processes, all while having fun doing it. So, also a big highlight to Missy. Missy is a team member with her mentor, the renowned leadership expert John Maxwell. She is a certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the Maxwell Global team. Missy, thank you for joining us again today.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me again for 2 weeks in a row.
Exactly. Maybe you know what? There's some shows that have that regular guest star.
Oh, is it going to be me?
Are you just going to be the Friday guest star? Who knows? It may be.
Yeah, talk about Fun Friday.
Absolutely. If we could evolve this more like maybe the virtual original, like Johnny Carson, not like the late 80s, early 90s Johnny Carson, the 70s one where there wasn't coffee in these beverages.
Yes.
This would be a rip roaring show. So Missy, thanks again, and I think it's important because it's funny. You and I chatted a lot last week and covered a lot of material.
Mhm.
But in 7 days, there's new stuff to talk about.
Boy, that is the truth. I was thinking that last night and I was like, wow, in a short period of time, things have changed since I talked last week.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's been a lot of discussion even around our brokerage, our broker, Dave Tina Jr. Shout out to David. Has been discussing Moore's law, where where technology continues to accelerate while getting smaller in a doubling effect, and
Hmm.
and he's a feeling, and I could see signs of it too. How Moore's law is sort of starting to impact our life and our social environment.
Right. Hmm.
So, Missy, But I did want to kind of catch up with you and sort of recap is, we discussed a lot about you being a success consultant, but, just kind of in a snapshot, what is it that you do?
So what I do is I help people live the life they've imagined, and that means looking at where they're at now and if they're happy now, great. How can we make it even better? If they're not, what can we do so that you're living your best life? Maybe it's a different job. Maybe you want to start your own business. And I know when I started my business, I'm thankful that I had somebody to walk along beside me to show me what I needed to do to be successful. Because coming out of, 10 years as a social worker and 20 years in corporate, I had no idea. I just showed up. If it was on my schedule, I was there for whatever. And it's a whole different animal when it's your own business because
Yes.
you have to be everywhere and do your schedule. So I help people make their businesses smarter and healthier and more productive.
So, okay, that's great to touch on because you're speaking to the kind of the why you're doing this, and it sounds like your why is tied to your life.
Yeah.
And then you're also speaking about the healthiness and the funness of it. And I kind of want to dive into a couple of those pieces a little bit more.
Okay.
The the why, balancing the why against your life and the business and that. How are you able to get some people, because a lot of us too, entrepreneurs, especially the ones that are kind of the type A drivers, it's like, okay, I'm going to go from A to B and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And it's going to result in this many sales and this many units. And here it is. It doesn't sound a whole lot why. It doesn't sound a whole lot of fun.
Some people don't believe that you can have fun and work. They think of it in their mind as two separate things.
Right.
When I'm working, it needs to be serious. It needs to be productive. I need to stay on task. And then when I'm having fun, boy, I'll let my hair down and have fun. So a lot of people have a problem seeing that being connected, and it's possible to have a little of both in your world. And that's where I come in and say, fun isn't just about standing and dancing on a table. You can have fun while you're working. And to me, when I have a business that I'm working with and they're very, no, we don't want to do that here at all, I kind of slip it in through the back door so they don't really understand what's happening. And before you know it, they're like, wow, we're actually are having fun while we're doing our work and being productive. And so that's always cool to see that, you don't have to go to work and just be super serious and boring. And you shouldn't, because your clients don't like that very much.
Yeah, and where to where you talked about the back door, not maybe, I don't know if it's avoiding the CEO, but how do you get the top members on board? How do you get them to eat their own dog food, as we've said in some company situations?
For them, it's different. So I found with the employees, all I do is I just say, hey, what do you think about having fun while you work? They're all in. Yes, please.
Sure.
Now, C-level, they're like, no. So that's when I bring in the metrics, the facts, the figures, the actual, this is my documentation. I was able to take a team from here, percentage-wise, to here in X amount of days, based solely on implementing a little fun in the workplace once a week. So that's what speaks to them, the numbers, the bottom line. Saving money, better, employee satisfaction scores, things like that. So that's how I get their buy-in. And then I will ask them, so if you were just to have a little fun at work, what would that look like for you? And get them, involved. And then, so I set them, okay, you guys stay over here, and I'm going to go play with all the staff, and we're going to, see what we can do over here. And then once they see that the employees can actually be more productive, um, better with the customer service, then that's a double whammy for them. So now they've got facts, figures, and they're actually seeing it happen in their own environment.
Got it. You bring up are they more productive, employees more productive? There's been a lot of talk or discussion about with COVID-19 and the work from home that businesses have seen productivity increase. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you see that going forward?
Well, my thoughts on that is I can see why they would see more productivity because you have people that are in their own space, their own environment. They have the ability to get up, do things, be more relaxed. And when we're more relaxed and feel comfortable in our environment, we are more productive. That's just, there's so many facts and figures to support that. So to me, it's not a surprise that they're more productive. And I think, I know there's a lot of companies that I work with there's two in mind that are giving up the brick and mortar and they're going totally virtual,
Okay.
because they have seen so much success during this time and they're like looking at, look at how much we can save, by not having, buildings. And so, in some ways, I think it's cool that they're making that move and then on the flip side of that, there are some companies that haven't seen that kind of productivity increase and are going to go back, bring everybody in back to the building, but then there needs to be a plan in place for that because I call it the reentry period.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you've been separated for 2 or 3 months from your employees, it's kind of weird to get everybody back together. And there's something needs to be said or done or a plan in place, or else it can be chaotic really quickly.
Okay. So it's just not just let's turn on the lights and make sure somebody watered the plant.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And
Hmm.
so how how do you maintain because we're probably going to go into this interesting new world where the telecommute employee even in a local business is going to going to probably be on the rise just from this. And I understand, you maybe have some more flexibility, things of that nature. But how do you maintain fun and team cohesion? Because sometimes I feel like right now we're chatting, I'm staring into a camera, over the interwebs, and you're staring into a camera over the interwebs, and this is being broadcasted somewhere else. But what would you suggest for, or what do you see team or companies needing to do to sort of keep some of that team cohesion? Because as would you say that sometimes when you put a group of people together, there's synergy, there's a lot of outcomes that are beneficial.
Right. Hmm. I'm kind of like old school as far as training. I like being in the room. I like having that close personal interaction, so you get a feeling from the room. But I have to tell you, during this, I've had to be very creative in the fun piece. So at the beginning of the call, so like I'll come up with something. One day we had a scavenger hunt where I told them all to go and find something of a certain color and then come back and talk about it. Um, we've done a lot of games virtually, which has been so cool. And I think it's just a matter of thinking outside the box and continue to do things that are going to bring your team together. And it's been a lot of fun to watch, because it breaks, as you know, when you have like 50 people on a Zoom call, and anything can happen. There's like animals running across keyboards or, things happening in the background. And it's just like you have to be patient and okay, everybody come back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you speak of that, how does the CEO or your manager, director level people, your team leads, keep what's the relationship there? How does that relationship evolve as we're going to be probably dealing with more remote people?
Well, so one of the things that I told everybody before a training call, I said, okay, everybody just wear some kind of hat, like a baseball cap, whatever. Just wear something fun on your head. And so the CEO came and he had borrowed his wife's pink, huge floral hat. And it was hilarious. And everybody was talking about that. That was so out of character for him. And people had so much fun seeing that and talking about it. And so I think in some ways, so we're talking about being virtual, you're in your own environment. Now, would he have done that walking into the office and sitting in his office with a big pink floral hat on his head?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No. Yep. Yep. No, that's great. So it sounds like, we have to, we may have some different tool set, we may have some different ways to approach fun.
Right.
But the strategy is to keep it light, keep it loose. As I like to say to a lot of people, I said, my mentor once said to me, he said, Don, what we do is not mission critical. And he defined mission critical. It says, we don't launch rocket ships. We don't operate on people. We help a bunch of people that with their golf swing and enjoy their round and enjoy. Says, I mean, and they're there to have fun. So I mean, this. We don't have to cut the knife with don't have to cut the tension with a knife.
Right.
And for the most part, most businesses, I don't know if they, how do you get them to get on board with that? Because it seems like there's still a lot of businesses, a lot of industry out there that look at things as mission critical. Now, I understand service, I understand professionalism, but
well, I think for people that do think they are mission critical, it's something as simple as we tend to look at things and make them far more complicated, right, than they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it just takes that outside party coming in and saying, okay, let's talk about what do we really do here and how do we impact others. And so, we have that conversation. And it's like, okay, if I told you that there is a simple way, just taking 15 minutes a week, that you can increase your productivity, your customers are going to love you more, your staff are going to do basically whatever you ask, what would you say about that? And of course they're like all in. They're not going to say, oh, no. No, we're not interested in that.
Scoff at you.
And then we have the conversation, like you're saying, it's not that critical, We process statements and we send them out to the credit card holders. We're not saving the world here. So
right.
What's wrong with just bringing it down a notch
right.
and allowing everybody to enjoy being here?
Yeah. I mean, when they talk about successful teams, they always talk about the team that's loose is the team that wins versus the team that where you can, like, you can tell that they're tense.
Mm-hmm.
And
when people don't want to, it's easy to spot the people that come to work and don't want to be there.
Right.
They're easy to spot. And
How do you
then
spot them?
Usually they're not engaged. Usually they're keeping their head down. They're doing the activity that they're supposed to do, whatever that is. And they're just, you can tell they're in their own space, and it's like they send a message of, stay out of my space. I'm doing my job, kind of a thing. Perfect example, when I started at Citi. So they told me, that your team is going to be rough. You're their like fifth manager in 4 years. And I was like, great, lucky me. So I had my first team meeting, and this gentleman stood right in front of me, turned around and crossed his arms. Like, well, he's happy.
Yeah, he's thrilled.
So I went up to him after the meeting and I said, so, hey, how's everything going? It's fine. And I said, so I was, a little curious why, you turned your back on me and folded your arms when I was, talking and welcoming everybody. He said, there's nothing you have to say that I haven't heard before. And I was like, wow, do you know me?
Right.
Have we met? Have we talked before? And he's like, you're my fifth manager in 4 years, and you're not going to last, I can tell, because you're too nice. So and by the time that they closed the site, he and I were like best friends. He became very integral to the team as far as process improvements and things. And, and it wasn't like it was an overnight transformation, but it was somebody just needed to ask the question. Obviously, there's something wrong here. What is it?
Right.
It's just, have communication with people. Don't assume that they're all doing great, because chances are they're not all doing great.
How do you see communication evolving, or what do you see emphasis needing to be placed on with communication as we're dealing with COVID and post-COVID and this? What, as they said in a science fiction show, Strange New World.
Yeah, we definitely have that. I think communication is critical
Right.
at the time. I was amazed that I had a meeting and the CEO has yet to talk or address any of his employees. And it's like, how do you say at the end of the day, hey, I'm doing a great job as CEO of this company, and I haven't talked to any of my staff in 3 months?
Exactly.
That's not leadership. And leadership is all about communication. And so he's like, so what are you saying? I said, I'm saying what I'm saying. You need to have a conversation with everyone. They're having Zoom meetings. They're, making plans. You're not there. And, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with over communicating in a business world.
No, I am a big proponent of that. Prior to real estate, being in businesses and running teams and running operations at properties and things of that nature. There are people that kind of felt like it was their mission to say, I've got state secrets and I'm important because I'm going to keep them to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, okay, well, I don't have my mortal enemy listening in, and even if it does, who cares?
Right.
So it was like, who needs to know? And I would sort of say, well, probably a lot more people than you normally think.
Absolutely.
And so what would you say to that group? Okay, what would you say to this group right now? What would you say to groups right now? Because we're sort of we're moving into what they call phase 2. What's at what level? What should they be doing right now?
If they're part of the group that is going to be opening, they need to be fast and furious with communication, gathering everybody together. Okay, what's everybody's, thoughts on this? How's everybody feeling, first and foremost? Like, is everybody okay? How did you do during, the quarantine? Where are you at now? Are you ready, to come back? Ready to go, because everybody's going to have to hit the ground running. And I'm thinking specifically, like the casinos. That's a huge industry that has to move very quickly in order to get going again. And I think companies, need to be really, I think, in tune to their employees and aware that everybody's not going to be ready to come back. You're going to have people that are going to be freaked out and are going to say, I am not ready to be around a lot of people and have a lot of customers. I don't, I'm not ready. And we have to be okay with that right now. I personally know a couple of people that have anxiety issues, and this has like thrown them into a whole other world. And it's going to take a while before, they feel comfortable to integrate back in, with other people, and be in a business environment. So I think we need to be kind and we need to be patient and make sure that everybody's okay. If there's ever a time that, C-level people need to learn warm and fuzzy skills, it better happen quickly.
Mm-hmm. And what about the we touched a base on this last week, the culture and the mission. Do the C-level people need to reevaluate even when they were, because let's say they were seeing success already, everyone was firing on all cylinders going into March.
Mm-hmm.
And we're 8 weeks away removed. Does culture and mission have to be reevaluated even though they were successful?
Yes, I think if any, if it was an awful situation
Mm-hmm.
that got us to this place, but I think in the long run, I think it was a good time for people, not only in their lives, but for business as well, to just take a pause.
Mm-hmm.
And, what direction are we going in? And, that mission statement that just is on the wall, is it still valid today? Is that still our mission? Are our core values still the same? I'm going to bet if people have really done their homework during this time, those things are going to be a little different. It's going to look different just because so much has changed. And, especially if you're moving from brick and mortar and you're going virtually, all that needs to change because it's going to be totally different.
Right. No, that's a great point. And honestly, Missy, who should be involved in that discussion? Should it just be the owner?
No,
Okay.
everybody should be involved in that because, I worked for a company that spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on, somebody would change the mission statement and the core values.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day on our desk, we'd get this cute little packet. Hey, here's our mission statement. Here's our core values. Here's this little plaque hanging in your office. Done. And it's like, oh, thanks for asking me for my input.
Right.
Because sometimes, you look at them and you're like, this isn't even who we are as a company. Who was the person that came up with these things? And again, we go back to, it's the communication. Get everybody's buy-in. If you want somebody to live the core values, then you better be asking their feedback for them so they'll live them and not just plop them on their desk and say, here, do this.
So this brings up an interesting question, and I couldn't have asked it last week because I didn't have this conversation. So I caught up with a longtime friend. We've known each other 30 years. He's in another state right now, and he has a kind of his old adage of what his business theory, and his business theory translates to a former industrialist who's now since passed, saying, "Great, companies are well-run companies are by decision makers less the number of than the number odd." I'm sorry. Let me back up and say, the best run companies are with decision makers numbering an odd number less than 3. How does that apply today? Does that scale?
I don't think so. I mean, that kind of hurts my head.
Kind of hurt my head trying to restate it.
it's, when you said earlier, about the quote of a strange new world,
Uh-huh.
it is. I think we would be remiss to think that this hasn't changed everyone. It's the first time in my lifetime that something has changed the entire world at the same time.
Right.
It's affected everybody and in one way or another. And I think, people are going to be different. Businesses are going to be different for sure,
Yep.
on every level. And it's going to be interesting. I'm one that thinks kind of like, anytime there's change or things happen, exciting things come of it. And we touched on this last week. Being in the banking industry during 9/11, 9/11 changed the face of banking.
Yes.
Um, we went to, Check 21, everything went online, did away with paper trails and things like that. And, the airline industry certainly changed a lot after that. And so I just I'm curious to watch what happens and how this plays out in the next couple of months.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all these, the 9/11 produced a series of acts and legislation that changed our environment. The Great Recession did the same thing. This will introduce yet another set and impacting businesses. And and this also too this that those periods also caused the demise of several businesses or accelerated them. I mean, it's sad to see an institution like Pier 1 Imports, something
Yeah.
I grew up with all the time, just all of a sudden gone.
Hmm.
J.C. Penney's now. I mean, J.C. Penney's has struggled for a long time, but now trying to see if they could reorganize. Even Neiman Marcus, you would think that a storied brand and something
Hmm.
that represented sort of the kind of the wealthy segment having a problem.
Right.
Businesses are going away, or what do you you know how do businesses or their sister companies or their competitors, is there any coping, or how do you deal with that?
I think I remember, Walmart,
Mm-hmm.
when Walmart started coming into town,
Right.
and the super Walmart. Put a lot of mom and pop businesses, out of business.
Yep.
The internet arrived, online shopping, Amazon, get it right now with one click. That's why we're seeing a lot of, box stores that are closing because I can sit at home and order everything I need. Why should I go out to a mall? Why do I need to go out into a store, right? So if people want to stay in business, you have to stay relevant. Like you think with Kodak, they had opportunities that they could have changed, done something differently to be relevant, chose not to, and, here they are. So businesses have to keep in mind what is happening now, what's working, let's enhance that. What are we not doing that we should have been doing? Let's get it up and running now so that you're still out there and prevalent to people. And I think the days are over where businesses, if you don't stay top of mind and you're not have social proof and, people, you're going to be overlooked. That's just where we're at right now. And so, my dad, I get all my great advice, this from my dad. And he, called me last month and he said, so, you going to make it? And I said, are we talking about my business? And he's like, yeah. He goes, you going to make it? And I said, yep. I said, I am. And he goes, good. He goes, are you still excited about doing it? And I said, yep. And he goes, you still love it every day? I said, yes. He goes, okay, that's all I need to know. And I think something as simple, those two things, you still excited about it, you still love it, you'll make it work
So
no matter what's going on.
so he asked you those questions, and I think those are important. Why that's the follow-up question I have. Why are you?
Why am I making it?
Yeah.
Because, again, going back to my dad and my coach that I originally started in my business, the first thing both of them told me is if you're going to be in business, you have to be prepared for the days when you're not getting business. And you have to be able to sustain that for at least 6 to 8 months to a year. Because there's going to be times when people aren't going to be knocking on your door and you're not going to be selling.
Right.
And so I think having that information is critical, and having a plan. We never know what happens, what is going to happen, but we should all have a plan B, a contingency plan, the what if. What if something catastrophic happened and I didn't have business for 2 months? What then? What's going to happen? What is that going to look like? And we have to be prepared in some fashion for protecting our business, whatever that looks like. And it breaks my heart that, I know people that have had their business, their small business, for a long time, and it was their heart, and they put everything into it, and it's no more. They've closed. And things like that break my heart, but it's like if you're not prepared, it's like we talked about, wasn't it last week we talked about the 3 little pigs?
Yes, we did. We did.
Yeah,
We very much.
Like that.
I mean,
yes.
I don't belong to John Maxwell, but being in real estate, we have a lot of these real estate coaches, and I'm very fortunate to be with the leading real estate coaching group in the nation, and the message for the last couple of years. Now, this was when unemployment's low, businesses firing, all those things are going. There are 2 things. Is your business straw, sticks, or bricks? And the three little pig analogy. And B, winter is coming. I mean, the Game of Thrones thing. And I think a lot of people would go, okay, well, winter's coming. Stock market's 30,000, 3.6% unemployment. I'm killing it. I'm doing all this, but it was drilled into us, conference after conference, coaching meeting after coaching session. Winter is coming, and those 3 things, and winter came.
Yes, it did, in a big way.
Yeah, a triple nor'easter with a polar express and a vortex and then some avalanches in between.
Yes, all we were missing were the dragons.
Exactly. Exactly. And so we kind of, you brought that analogy back up, and like you said, it's probably, unfortunately, because of the storm that went through us these last couple of months, the straw got blown away. What do you say to those where the straw got blown away?
Well, for one of the people, when we had a conversation, she was like, we're not making it. We have to close. And I said, so, is there another plan? Like, is that over for this business?
Yep.
You put everything into it. Is it over? Or, is there a chance that you can regroup and come back? And, so I think there are those opportunities. It may take a minute for some people to get over the initial shock of what happened. And I think it sends a message to a lot of businesses that maybe were, in the 6 portion, right?
Yes.
This is a really good time for you to lay the foundation now. We're going to get the bricks out. We're going to start putting it back together with a foundation of bricks so that this happens again. That we're not going to, lose the chance of losing the business. And I think it's a huge, red flag for people that, you can't, this isn't a world anymore where we can just predict that everything's going to be, all rainbows and unicorns. And that's not reality. You
Darn.
know what I mean? As much as I hate to say it, it's not. And that you have to prepare for the worst sometimes. And this was a worse scenario. And there was, unfortunately, a lot of businesses weren't prepared.
And it seems now the worst has been coming in 10-year increments.
Yeah.
9/11. You could even make an argument the Gulf War. It's almost like it's a once a decade event now,
Mm-hmm.
with with some other things with some other stress testers in between. I mean,
Yeah.
we had 9/11, we had the financial crisis, but in between we had Katrina. Now that was a localized event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes so there's some of these blips in between. So you bring up a great point. What type of what should businesses that are sort of the sticks right now? Are there things that you feel like in general they should be working on or honing on?
Mm-hmm. I think they should focus on, they need to be in a place where financially they can take care of themselves for at least 6 months. So I would say they need to get, there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
Right.
And a lot of business owners are reluctant to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But now is the time for them to get like a financial planner, whoever that may be. Get somebody that knows business that can help them say, this is what we need to focus on. Let's get some businesses don't even have a business plan, and get that put together and then start looking forward. Where do I want to be 3, 5, 10 years? If I want to stop working at this point, all those things, let's have conversations now about all those things, how we're going to get there, what needs to happen so that when something happens again, that you can sustain yourself.
And and that's kind of the top level, like you said. Put the financial resources in place, be able to weather the storm, things of that nature, and that's probably a good sign of somebody that's starting to, they've got those pieces in place to keep the building, the business, the entity together. What
Mm-hmm.
about what about for the what about for the people? And this is maybe not necessarily monetary, but your employees, your middle management, things of that nature. In a stick business, what should they be focused on? What should be worked on there?
I think that kind of like along the same line. So we've got a stick business, we're doing pretty well, you know, but do you want to stay there? Is that where you want to stay?
Right.
And if it's no, hopefully it's no, then like I was saying before, okay, then how do we move from being a stick company to where we are the brick house company? What do those steps look like so we can start working on those now? And, is for all three houses, we go back to what you were saying before. Who needs to be involved in that? Everyone at this point,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone is going to have an idea that they're going to bring to the table so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Very very good point. Very good point. And Missy too. We've chatted about it, things of that nature. Um, some people have called it. January starts in June. Everyone went. Where'd our 2020 go?
Hmm.
How's that 2020 plan working for you? Uh, so on and so forth. I think
Yeah,
there's
mine went out the window.
memes aplenty. Um, how should people treat 2020 in relation to 2021?
I think so. What I tell my coaching clients right now is so and I'll speak from my own point of view. In 2019 was hideous for me, and I was glad that it was over, and I was very excited about 2020. I don't know that the number thing about it, and just it like felt fresh. The new next decade. I had all these wonderful plans. I was like, oh my god, I'm excited. So much stuff's gonna happen. Then it was like, eat. And then it was like, so I tore up my vision board and I was like, okay, that's done. And I just, I tell my coaching clients, we're not going to waste time with a do-over because we're not. We don't get a do-over in this one. We're just going to start fresh.
Right.
So let's look at June 1st, and we're just going to plan the rest of June, the rest of this year in June, the best that we can because still things are kind of like squirrely up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then set us up for a great 2021. So we want to spend 6 months preparing ourselves to launch big time in 2021 and hope to God that there's nothing that's going to happen next year.
No dragons. Let's hope. Let's hope no dragons.
No dragons.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle would like dragons.
Yes. Although you better have the bricks in place because those sticks will go up quick.
Yes, no kidding.
Because the straw's already gone. So
So basically, just start from wherever you're at, whatever that looks like, and build from there for the rest of this year.
there you go. There you go. And it's interesting. You were out and about and such, and we're on. A lot of us are on social media, but we're also with our neighbors. There's certainly this week there's a lot going on in the nation, but for the most part for Vegas, we've kind of went with the little. I mean, do you feel that Las Vegas has been a little bit of kind of like London during the keep calm and carry on?
Oh yeah. There have been times, except for the fact when we would drive down the strip and it was obvious that something's happened,
Right.
Other than that, I don't feel like, I don't know. I think it's kind of like just the spirit of Las Vegas that it's like, hey, whatever, it's life is one big party
Right.
kind of thing. Is kind of like how we've China's kind of like sailed, through it for the most part. If you go out now and you're on the 215, it's pretty much situation normal again.
Traffic
I
has
mean,
picked back up.
everybody,
It's the same,
yeah,
isn't it?
everybody's out. They're
Yep.
like, I'm done.
Yes. No question. So I mean, and Vegas, I know a lot of people, especially in real estate, we get asked these questions a lot. Are we back to '08 again when we got sort of our reality check here, and right now all the signs show no. Were that the case, I mean, not only would the strip be unpopular like you saw the caterpillars and the road graders and all those would have been long idle, but they're still
hmm
pushing ahead.
Right.
And Vegas is excited. We have our Vegas Golden Knights now in the playoffs.
Yay.
Our new our new feeder team now, the Henderson Silver Knights.
Yes, Henderson Silver Knights.
Yeah. So I mean, it's and also Vegas for the most part is probably the city, unlike other cities we've seen, has the ability to rapidly adapt and reboot itself.
Yes. I shared last week, we were talking about one of my favorite words is resilient.
Yes.
And I think this city, is very resilient. I mean, you think of, 1 October,
Yes.
How the community just rallied, during that time. And it felt like we were all one and we were very resilient after, that. And now the same thing. It's, Las Vegas, people talking about, oh, it's a tourist town, it's so big. It's not that big, really. When you really think about it and you feel about Las Vegas, it is a small town
Mm-hmm.
feel.
Yes.
A lot of people know everybody in town, and I like that. It's like you get to live in a big city, but yet it still feels small.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of it's a weird mix because I haven't really seen this in many other places, and I think maybe because of our the current setup, but we seem to be like a boutique city at scale. You know,
Mhm.
when you look at restaurants, you look at retail, you look at amenities, you look at services, you look at convenience, you look at opportunity, that cities 2 to 3 times our size still lack.
Mhm.
And
Right.
somebody said too, it says, the sign that Vegas made it. I was talking to a friend of mine in commercial real estate. He says the sign that Vegas was on the map was based on IKEA coming here.
Wow. Really?
Because apparently the way that they move and operate is a certain way.
Mhm.
And it's one of those, okay, if you're going to be a city of the future, that's what IKEA apparently looks at.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting because not a lot of places, even big places, have an IKEA.
Right. Yeah. It was very exciting when I knew that they were coming.
Yep.
I happen to like the Swedish meatballs, but whatever.
Fantastic. Missy, I've got one more question here. I mean, this has been an awesome conversation. I'm glad we were able to do this again. Learned so much from you. First off, if people have questions, out there, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a business, kind of trying to rethink, you're trying to okay, where do I begin? I don't have a lot of support staff or don't have a lot of infrastructure. Things are moving too quick. First off, you need to go and reach out to Missy Day, so you can go see her at missyday.com. She's also on social media, and she's got a lot of great. She is a networker extraordinaire too. I mean, there's a couple of groups that she leads. Missy, I'm excited that that the lunch group is coming back here soon.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Absolutely, and so Missy, in addition to a business saying, okay, we need to bring Missy in to kind of help us get ready for the second half of this year and prepare for 2021. Would you recommend, is there a book or is there something you think, book, video, YouTube, is there anything that you're seeing right now that you're like, you know what, this is what people, I suggest you put this by your nightstand, or I suggest if you've got some time, check this out, right? And is there one or two of those things that you'd suggest people to do?
Yes, I have two books that I'd like to suggest. One is by John Maxwell. It's called Great Leaders Ask Great Questions. And it starts the conversation about leaders have to involve everybody in their organization, no matter if it's people or 2,000. So I would recommend that book. And then also a book that completely changed my business and the way I look at my business is Simon Sinek, Start With Why.
Mm-hmm.
And Simon Sinek has been so awesome at adding value and giving during this time. He's doing free online classes every week that are business topics that are amazing. And he gives really good suggestions about two businesses in New York that have completely changed what they do because they didn't want to close. And so they started something different. So if you just go to his website, simonsinek.com, he is still doing classes for, I think, another month, he said. Because he's like everybody else that's in this industry. He's not speaking. There's nowhere to speak at this, time. So he's just been giving back freely. And so I would suggest those things.
Fantastic. So Simon Sinek, Starts With Why,
Mm-hmm.
and John Maxwell's book, and that title again was?
Great leaders ask great questions.
Okay. And Missy, before we wrap, you have an event that you were much in prepared for that was planned, but I'd like to kind of talk about that for a few minutes and sort of see what's kind of plan B at this time.
Yes, that was definitely a plan B.
Yes.
So about 5 years ago, I was asked to share my personal story, which I'd never done before and didn't really plan on ever telling it. And I did. I stood up and told my story, and a relief that I felt was awesome. But more importantly, were all the women that came up to me afterwards and said that really, spoke to me. I could feel that I can relate to what you went through. And so it occurred to me that there weren't a lot of places where people could stand in a safe place and tell their story, especially if they've never shared it before. And so I created What's Your Story? And so this year, I just wanted to like go big, go home,
Right.
with it. I love Huntington Beach, and I thought, if I could marry those two things together and have an event in Huntington Beach where people could come and tell their stories, I said that would just be like a dream come true for me. So we planned it. I brought Michelle on board and I booked the hotel and everything, and it was supposed to take place October 24th of this year. Then, of course, COVID blew into town. And so, California, some of it's open, some of it's not. And they're just like, it's still too unknown. And I just was feeling not comfortable about having it in October. So I reached out to the hotel and I said, look, what can we do? And they said, we'll move it. We're not going to change any of the rates. We're not going to charge you the fees that we'd normally charge for canceling, reschedule. So I picked a new date. It's going to be March 20th of 2021. Going to be in Huntington Beach, California at the Waterfront Hilton. I am so excited. The speaker lineup for this event is just, I'm so proud of it. I'm so excited that I'm almost speechless about it, really.
That's awesome.
It's, it's more than I could ever hope for. And, sometimes things happen for a reason. And we've been able to pull in some people for March that were not available for October. So everything works out the way it's supposed to be.
And I will be on. First off, I want to give a shout out to you mentioned Michelle, so that was Michelle Housebeck with Housebeck Brands. In case somebody didn't quite pick up on that, she is definitely, she's one of your clients, as well as a great brand designer and
a great friend.
Great friend, great, and back in the pre-real estate days, she used to be the work wife, and I was the work husband. Going back in the digital days, and I will be honest, I was a little scratching my head a little bit about, okay, what's your story a little bit, and then I kind of heard about it, kind of like the thing, but now post COVID. Now, as we kind of move into this, not fully behind it, but we're kind of moving into the later stages, it kind of resonates now more than ever.
Oh, absolutely. And I was talking to a couple of the speakers and I said, so let me ask you a question. Is your story going to be a little different, now that we've gone through this? And they were like, absolutely.
Yep. Who should book that trip?
If you've ever gone through anything in your life and you kind of like packed it up in a box and put it away in the closet because you felt like nobody cares about my story, what do I have to say to anybody?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that person needs to attend because everybody is waiting for their story, And I always tell the speakers when they get caught up in it, I always tell them, this isn't about you. This has nothing to do with you. This is about you speaking to somebody in the audience that up until this day has been burying a secret that is keeping them from living their best life. And for them to know that somebody can stand up on a stage that's gone through the same thing and share that, and today I am a business owner or I'm successful at whatever, that people need to hear that. They need to see it. That, okay, I had a jacked up life and it's okay. And it's okay to share it and move on and let that go.
No question. Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's probably a lot of that if it was in a box before. I'm sure these last 8 weeks opened that box back up for better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
Or they've got something they need to put away, put away, and they're trying to put away in that box right now.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Mm-hmm.
well, Missy, this has been fantastic. In fact, better. I hate to say it, but 2.0 is better than 1.0.
It was. I was going to say the same thing.
and I look forward to 3.0 in the future. Maybe not next Friday, but very soon. And
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, again, if you are tuning in and you want some more information, whether it's about your business and you're looking for some help and guidance, again, reach out to Missy Day at missyday.com. Also on her social media channels. Also, too, she is the wonderful host and coordinator of Like-Minded Lunch. Again, that can be found on Facebook. It's a great, professional get-together that's once a month. And also, lastly, again, What's Your Story, which is now scheduled for March 20th, 2021 in beautiful Huntington Beach. And so, Missy, pleasure as always. I always enjoy our conversations.
Thank you. Me too. I think you're fun. This is great.
This is fantastic. And cheers to you.
Cheers.
And again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in to Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. I'm Don Cramer. Colleen's, we were chatting late last night. She's going to be back in the virtual broadcast studio here very soon. And again, if you have any questions about real estate, whether it's buying, selling, or investing in real estate in Las Vegas, or if you're coming in from outside and wanting to go, hey, what's going on in Vegas? Continue to check out our Facebook page or reach out and message us. We'd love to chat with you because now more than ever, your real estate experience matters. So again, on behalf of the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty, I'm Don Cramer. Everyone, you have a wonderful day and figure out your why and prepare to move forward through 2020 and make it big in 2021. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.